I just clicked live. I wish I would have caught that live. That would have been amazing. We're trying to look like a naughty librarians, everyone.
I'm
trying to
and
look like
Ari's trying to be a fish.
And I, of course, had to wreck Donny, so.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode number 59 of Restitching the Tapestry. As you can tell, we were having a lot of fun in the back room, which is what we always do. That sounded really bad now that I think about it. But I digress. So welcome to episode 59. We're getting very close to having 60 episodes, which is... It seems like 50 episodes was like a week ago, but it's been literally like 2 months ago. But like we're really excited to be here, and we're also very excited to have our wonderful Sherri Archer joining us from the YouTube channel Sherri Makes Stuff. So go subscribe to her channel. But today we're going to be talking about what we're thankful for, considering we are in that current season. We're in the gratitude season. Granted, I think all year should be gratitude season, but that's besides the point. So before we get formally started, let's share how we've been doing lately and what we've been up to. Ari, what have you been doing? How have you been?
I have not been writing, that's for sure.
Oh no.
But I've started intermittent fasting because I'm hoping that, it restricts my calories to a certain eating period, and like it's supposed to have health benefits. So I wanted to try that. Also, I'm drinking 3 liters of water a day, so I just keep running to the bathroom.
How about you, Sherri?
Well, as you both know, and as most of you know, I am getting over the shingles. So I've been sick for the last several weeks. But I am much better now. I'm no longer writhing in pain, and I can actually sleep through the night now. So these are the little things that you hope for. I've got
that we're thankful for, right?
That we are thankful for, exactly. Yeah. The day before my birthday, I got shingles, for those of you who don't know. So that was a good time. Good time.
The universe was probably having a joke over that. Like that's so frustrating.
What about you, Donny?
For me, I've been, of course, schooling. We hosted our Friendsgiving yesterday with some of my partner's work friends and my roommate's work friends. And I've been doing a little bit of writing here and there. I'm actually working on my 3rd collection of poems, nowhere near in the vicinity of being done. So like, and it's going to take longer to finish this one than the other 2. But good news. I got, what was that, Ari?
What do you have a theme for your new book?
Oh yeah, it's going to still be like cyborgy sci-fi stuff. Nerd. I've come to the conclusion that that's probably going to be my genre of choice that I write in. And I also got really good news this week. I've been in the process of like using Google Analytics to kind of like connect with my website and to increase like my footprint as an author. And I am officially an author labeled in Google. And if you type in my name, you can like see that listing and see a list of my publications. And I like it's honestly a small thing, but for we writers, like small things are like huge. The small successes add up, and those are the most significant ones in my opinion. So so we have Arby with us tonight. We have Panda Alsatian, and we have Leo so far. So welcome all of you. It's good to see you. Leo is singing songs involving your name.
And he had bad jokes. Did you see the bad joke?
Yep. Leo, we can always rely on you for that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so per the usual, let's begin our show tonight with going over our mission statement, okay? Many witness different atrocities, large or small, that fray the social fabric around us. Much of the time, many may feel powerless and know not how to address such things. This fray has gotten worse with the rise of social media, being that we are now able to share in trauma collectively as it goes viral in real time. And much of this collective grief shared is often primarily happening to communities who are marginalized. Our goal with Restitching the Tapestry is to use our privilege to educate ourselves and also model that and perpetuate what we learn, and in order to create conversation, with the whole purpose of just creating a dialogue, spreading awareness about different things. And we want to do that through, conversation, creativity, and action. So that is what we are all about here. Okay, well, let's begin by reflecting a little bit on Thanksgiving in general, like our histories with it. So, a lot of people celebrate it. It's still a widely celebrated holiday, right? So, thinking about your family traditions throughout like your lives, like going all the way back to the beginning, what did your families do? Like, how did you celebrate? Ari, do you want to go first?
Sure. So, when I was a kid, we actually didn't do Thanksgiving. We would do tacos because my mom was making big meals every week throughout the year, like on Sunday. Like, so Sunday was like a big family dinner, and like there usually was like ham or pork chops or turkey. So, we always had big meals. So my mom didn't want to cook on Thanksgiving because she was like, I'm done. I'm done. Give me a break. So we would make tacos and watch movies.
That's amazing. Hey, it works though too.
That is
Sherri,
so
how about
great.
you?
I just
Go
want
ahead.
to I just want to point at that. Like, that's so great that your family was just like, yes, girl. Like, you get a day off and just honored your mom in that way. Like, how beautiful is that, right?
Yeah,
Like
we
a
do it
lot
for
of
Christmas too.
Yeah, like a lot of families would have been like, oh no, honey, now you on +1. Like, now we're gonna invite all the extended family
Uh,
over and everything,
uh,
right? But that your family was so supportive of your mom, that's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, have you seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
yes.
So that's my family except Slavic. Just loud, obnoxious, way too much food. Everybody's in each other's business. Everybody's talking over each other. Very matriarchal. That's totally my family. And I grew up, it was my grandfather passed away when I was very, very young. So my grandmother had the family parties at her house until she moved. And then one of my aunts took it over. So we always had kind of like a home base that we would all go to. And everybody would just bring a potluck dish, and whoever was hosting the party would have the main turkey or whatever. And there was turkey and ham and, this and that and Polish food and, all kinds of everything. And just tons and tons of food and laughter and joking. I sat at the kids' table until I was well into my 20s, just like the quintessential kind of Thanksgiving dinner, but just like very loud and spitty, and lots of people talking over each other. But that's just, I have like these great family memories. And so then when I grew up and I bought my own house, grew up, still waiting for that. But when I got older and bought my own house, I wanted to extend that to some of the families. So I started to have family parties here and started to kind of extend that same, to my aunts and everybody who are getting older now. And then like I went through this time. Well, I guess we're talking about childhood. So that's my childhood memory. Happy memories, family, lots of people around, cousins to play with, very kind of Huck Finn and, combination of Huck Finn and what's his name? The Saturday Evening Post painter. Norman Rockwell.
Norman Rockwell.
Yeah, Norman Rockwell. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get to adulthood here in just a second too, because
Yeah.
we're gonna also share how it's shifted for all of us. For me as a child and as a teenager, Thanksgiving became very elaborate in the sense that there was so much food. Like, we would end Thanksgiving barely being able to roll ourselves home.
Mm-hmm.
And like I do have some pretty good fond memories of Thanksgiving. We would begin most Thanksgiving days at my grandma Winter's house, who is my grandmother on my dad's side, and she would do like a Thanksgiving lunch type of thing. And then we would go to my aunt's house on my mom's side, and she would prepare like a very elaborate meal with like so much, you know. And then we would like sometimes we would have Thanksgiving at home, like with my parents and stuff like that too. It really depended on the year. Some years we would do that. Some years we would just do two, you know. But like we would end up doing that because everybody's work schedules were different, and it was really hard to kind of like get everybody in one location. Now, I do have like really fond memories of like cooking with my grandma, both of my grandmothers. We would actually make Christmas cookies around Thanksgiving. Like we would do it very early and just keep making Christmas cookies from Thanksgiving to Christmas. So I had a lot of sugar. Like it was probably really bad. But I also I do have some negative memories too. Um, Thanksgiving, especially when my family started becoming more Seventh-day Adventist, really centered around a lot of conflict. My older cousin ended up coming out in like the late 90s, and I remember that was like a very huge ordeal. And after that, Thanksgiving really was never the same because my family was very like contentious about it, you know. And once my grandmother died, back in 2003, we stopped. I mean, obviously we couldn't do Thanksgiving in that type of family capacity. So like it just it changed even from like my childhood years into my teenage years. So Deborah's here. Hello, Deborah. We're doing well. How are you doing tonight?
We had a similar kind of thing happen when my brother came out. So this would have been in like the middle to late 80s. My brother came out, and I was a teenager, I guess it must have been early to mid 80s, dating myself here, but whatever. So I was like, preteens to early teens, somewhere in that neighborhood. And he came out of the closet and openly to my family, and my family is pretty fundamentalist Christian. So they were not very fond of that. Particularly my one aunt and my grandmother were not very fond of that. And so they said, well, he can't come to the holiday parties anymore because we don't want him around the boy cousins, because of course that means he's instantly a pedophile, right?
Oh, yeah.
And my mom, who really struggled with this, my mom went through the whole coming out story arc, everything from, oh, it's my fault. What did I do? I'm a horrible mother, blah, blah, blah. Like all of that. She went through all of the things, to the pray the gay away, to, everything. But my mom, bless her soul, like she came out in the end and she was just like, oh, really? Like, this is my private family's issue that we're dealing with. And if you can't handle my son being here for the holiday parties, then I guess I'm not coming either. And so there was like a good 3 years where we just didn't go to any holiday parties at all. And we just stopped. And I was so proud of my mom for standing up, because she really struggled. Like she was, brought up a fundamentalist Christian person, and she really struggled with this, and she didn't know what to do with it. But she also felt like that, like he's still the same person. You know what I mean? Like how I feel about this individually on a moral level has nothing to do with him coming to family parties. You know what I mean? Like she at least could understand it on that level, and she stood up for him, and I was really proud of her for that. And so we just were like, effing, we just didn't go to those parties for a while. And my brother, bless his soul, drove down to my fundamentalist Christian aunt's house, where my fundamentalist grandmother was there, and sat them down and was like, look, I'm the same person that I ever was. Just now you know my big secret. That's literally the only thing that's changed. And he talked to them mano a mano for hours. I don't even know how long it was, but the guts on this kid, right? Like in the 80s, when we're talking the Reagan years, super conservative, and they were super conservative Reagan people. So, and they, that did the trick. They allowed him to come back into the parties, and everything was puppies and kittens ish from that point onward. And they never outwardly treated him any differently after that, after he had that sit down with them. So, I'm really proud of both of them and the way they handled it. And that was good modeling for me as a young kid coming up and seeing this. You know what I mean? Like that really inspired me to be like, okay, to advocate and to stand up for what's right. You know what I mean? And even in the face of your family, who you dearly love.
Yeah, it's really like, I'm glad that it was able, kind of like echoing what Arpy said in the chat. Like, I'm glad that it improved, especially thinking about the 80s. Like, as an LGBTQ plus person, like, I mean, I knew that I was gay in the 90s, but like, if I like were conscious enough in the 80s, I was born in the 80s, but nowhere near old enough to like know, you know, all that stuff. But if like, I would be terrified to come out in the 80s. So like, that's really empowering, you know?
Yeah.
But it like, I also think that shows how family can bounce back from that type of thing.
Now, the AIDS were terrible. Like, Reagan made it so that he didn't help people with AIDS for like the longest time, and they were like throwing dead bodies onto the White House lawn, and it was just rough being a gay person in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, you know, then my brother was diagnosed in the late 80s as positive. So, you know, good times there. Yeah. Reagan, I mean, I lived through this. I remember this very clearly. He ignored it, like actively ignored it. And in the Reagan administration, they referred to AIDS as the gay cancer. Like even his close friend, Rock Hudson, you know, was diagnosed as positive and he ignored it. So, you know, what a bastard.
Yeah,
you
know? It was a very dark time. Definitely. So looking at, okay, so obviously we've all aged since then. We've all developed a lot of experiences. People have come in and out of our lives. We've moved. How has your Thanksgiving traditions changed since you've become an adult? Okay. I can go first with this one. So obviously my grandma dying on my dad's side really changed things. There were a few years where like my family didn't really do a lot of celebrating of anything. And then not long after that, my grandma on my mom's side started developing pretty severe dementia. And that kind of like hung heavily over our family. And it like, I could tell just everybody was super sad, you know? That was like in my 20s, like Thanksgiving in my 20s. Now that I'm in my 30s, like, it's interesting. Now that I have a partner and we live together, like we have to like navigate like each other's families' functions. I don't go to my partner's mom's side's Thanksgiving celebrations because there are still family members who like just don't acknowledge my partner's identity. So it would be like a really bad experience, you know?
Yeah.
We sometimes go to his dad's side. His aunts are amazing and very supportive. For my family specifically, what it's gotten to the point because my brother like lives out of state where it's just my parents and I will make like anything we want for Thanksgiving, sit and watch TV while we eat Thanksgiving dinner. And it works. Like I'm okay. Like I think last year we had either pizza or breakfast for dinner for Thanksgiving dinner.
But breakfast for dinner?
Oh my God. Like, don't get me started about breakfast for dinner because I could have breakfast for dinner every damn night.
For reals.
Like, put a hash brown in front of my face. It's going to be in my face. In my mouth.
Thank you.
So that in a nutshell, that's kind of how Thanksgiving traditions have changed for me. It's not as rigorously practiced as it used to be. And the family dynamic is very much more fragmented than it used to. Although this year might be interesting. My brother and his wife are coming up to Michigan, and we are having Thanksgiving dinner at her parents' house. So I've never experienced that before. So we'll see how that goes. These new changes.
What about you, Sherri?
Well, it's a long story. Everybody buckle up. So, stretch, drink some water, hydrate, shake it out. All right. So, well, as I said, so I bought my house when I was 29, which was, not yesterday. And I decided I wanted to take some of the pressure off my mom and my aunts and stuff. Well, not my mom. My mom's a terrible cook. She would bring bread to the family dinners. That was her job, because she's like, go buy bread, bring it. That's your job. Like, that's all she could handle. Love her, not a great cook. So I learned how to cook out of self-defense. So I decided I would start to, cook family dinners and, for the holidays and blah, 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 and all this sort of stuff. So my husband and I bought this house together that we are in currently. And I started having Thanksgiving dinners, and I would invite his family over, my family over. I got a big table so I could have everybody seated at it with these big dinners. It was a lot of fun. I had such a great time. And then I went through, because, like you said, we went through that same transition with your family where, my grandmother passed away, that my aunt passed away, who had taken up the mantle of the family parties. And it just kind of, the family started to kind of filter out, people started to move out of state and get other jobs and do other things and, have kids. And so then they have now their in-laws and those parties. And, you can only hold that together for so long. And then it starts to kind of break into chunks, into smaller chunks, just kind of how life goes. So that started to happen. So like I said, I thought I would become a hub, for the family to come over. And then about a little over 10 years ago, 2009, between 2007 and 2009, several big life things happened. Mother-in-law passed away. My now ex-husband divorced me, and my mom moved to Texas. And my brother moved to Ohio. So suddenly I had
Those are big.
Yeah. Suddenly I had nobody to cook for anymore. I had no in-laws. All my immediate family left. And, my husband was gone. So it was just me in the house. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm used to being hostess with the mostest, little Donna Reed, going to make the dinner for all the people. And I panicked. And so looking for something to do, I started to kind of talk to some of my friends, and I realized there's a lot of broken people out there, especially when you get to be a little older. By this point I was, late 30s, early 40s. And I was like, there's a lot of broken people, a lot of broken families out there, a lot of people that don't have any place to go and don't have any, family to spend that time with. So I started to have Friendsgiving. I started to do that long before anybody else said Friendsgiving. I just want to say I originated it. I'm owning it. So
you were the hipster of Friendsgiving. I love it.
Right. God damn it. So I started doing, friends Thanksgivings, and I started cooking for all my friends, and I do it on Friday. So that way, if you have family you want to spend it with on Thursday, you can, right? Then I've got all day Thursday that I can cook and be panicked in the kitchen and all the things. And then Friday, I have this beautiful setup. We get everything together. Everybody comes over, and it's just a good time. And it's usually very gay, and usually very, and I mean that in the happy sense, and I mean that in the gay sense. So it's, usually it's your chosen family is what it turned into. And, we just would laugh and have a good time and drink and eat until we couldn't eat anymore. And, just had a wonderful time sharing. And my favorite thing in the world is when my friends get together and become friends. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. I love it so much. And so, my friends would meet each other and start to hang out outside of Friendsgiving and become friends. And that just makes my heart warm, makes my job easier, because everybody gets along. So that became my tradition for a long time. And then COVID hit. And last year I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? Again, hostess with the mostest, Donna Reed. What am I going to do? So I did a video chat version of Friendsgiving where I still cooked all the dishes for Reggie and I. And we had a bunch of my friends show up for a video chat, and we just kind of mukbanged it through Thanksgiving for them.
That's amazing.
And it was so much fun. And we dressed up and we did all the things, and I only had to clean half the table. That was kind of cool. The rest of the house could look like hell because nobody can see it. I was like, that's kind of easier, actually. So this year, bring you up to 2021. My birthday's at the beginning of the year, or the beginning of the month, November, and I got sick. I got shingles just before the day before my birthday. So usually I throw a big epic birthday party, and that ended up getting canceled, which was a drag. I had friends coming up from Indiana that just had to hang out in town and do other things, and I couldn't see them. So we have decided to reschedule my birthday party for traditional Friendsgiving Day. And instead of having a traditional Friendsgiving And instead of having a traditional birthday, because it is my 50th, we are having a funeral. And I would love it if the two of you could join me either virtually or in person. That would be wonderful. We will be live streaming it, so let me know if you're interested.
Yeah.
We are going to be mourning.
that.
We're going to be mourning my youth and all the bad decisions I made that have brought me to this point.
I'll wear black lipstick and black nail polish just for the occasion.
Excellent. My son will be there as the next of kin. One of my dearest friends, Tara, who is my fiance. We keep joking that we're gonna get married someday. She's my widow, so she's gonna come dressed as the widow. Reggie, my partner, is my pallbearer. So we have roles for everybody. We're gonna cover the mirrors, and everybody's gonna wear black. And yep, and we're gonna get crunk. We're gonna get drunk, and I'm still gonna cook turkey, and we're gonna eat till we can't anymore. It's gonna be a great time.
Definitely give us the link to that live stream because we will be there.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Yep, next to kin, right in the chat.
That sounds amazing. This gives me My Chemical Romance vibes.
The Black Parade.
Ari, how about you?
So in my 20s, early 20s, my mom started doing traditional Thanksgiving because my extended family would start showing up for Thanksgiving. Like before, it was like everybody would go to my grandmother's house, or we would do just like separate families, like where we didn't really hang out with each other as a family. But in my early 20s, my grandmother decided she didn't want to cook anymore, so she would come over our house, and so my mom started doing traditional Thanksgiving again. So because she didn't cook as much anymore, so it wasn't like a huge burden on her. So my early 20s, she started cooking, and then in my mid to late 20s, I was gone. I moved away. I moved to Iowa. So I didn't go to any family functions for a while. I would go to my boyfriend at the time's family. And it was pretty much a horrible experience because they didn't like me.
Aww.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So then I broke up with him and I moved to Grand Canyon. And Grand Canyon, they have a free meal that they do for all the employees. So I got to eat with all my coworkers before I had to work.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun experience because I hung out with the old busser named Walter. He was just this real old, real slow busser, but he was like super nice and he was just super friendly. So having dinner with him was just kind of like, oh, Grandpa.
I would just like to meet these people who said they didn't like you because I need to throw hands. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I want to punch them with a folding chair.
For real.
They didn't like accommodating a vegetarian, and they didn't think that I was actually a vegetarian because I ate marshmallows because it's got gelatin in it.
The frickin' vegetarian police, right?
I am so tired of people.
I know. I had a friend that came for years to Friendsgiving. She told me she was gluten intolerant. I'm not going to be like, show me your gluten intolerance card. I just made gluten-free stuff for her. It's not that complicated.
It's not. It just requires a slight alteration to some ingredients. Like it's not a...
Right. Like, why do we got to be so gatekeepery to people? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, no true Scotsman.
So in my 30s, coming up to date, after I came back from Seattle, because I didn't go to family Thanksgivings when I was with Tim, we actually did our own Thanksgiving one year, and he made a whole turkey and ate the whole turkey. It's like a 12-pound turkey. He ate it by himself.
Wow.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, like, when I see a turkey, I'm tempted. But by myself, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, he had it like basting in the bathtub in a saltwater bath, like brining it.
Oh, I do that. I brine my turkeys.
But he put it in the bathtub.
No, I don't do that.
In like a cooler.
I mean,
Sorry. For
There's
some
choices.
reason, that just breaks me.
So
There are choices made.
I came back home and I started doing Thanksgiving with my family again. And we're doing the traditional thing now, but not many people show up outside of our extended family anymore. So it's just us. But there's always a lot of food. She starts with appetizers. She puts them out on the table, and we start eating at like 10 a.m. and we don't stop eating until like 6 p.m. And maybe even then we might do leftovers.
Oh yeah, we graze. Like, so in the past 2 to 3 years, like now that I've been with my partner, we've been hosting like Friendsgiving, right? With their coworkers. And it's been a unique experience for me because I've never been the host. I've never been the person who's been significantly influencing the cooking in any situation. Granted, cooking runs in my family. Like I do have the cooking gene. I'm a pretty damn good cook. But like it was a really unique experience being able to do all that, right? But like you, Ari, like we would start with like we would do like a charcuterie board, more like a charcuterie table, and we would graze on that until dinner, and then we would like graze on dinner until like 11 p.m.
Yeah, we would have like sweets and bar cheese and crackers and like deli like meats of some kind, but I don't know if that's a charcuterie board.
It has some of. I mean, I would say those are the ingredients of that are typically included on those.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Isn't a charcuterie board just like a bougie Lunchable? Come on.
It is. It is
like a cheese and cracker tray from Meijer. Like, come on. Like, that's all it is.
Sherri, we slice the cheese ourselves. We're bougie.
From the block of Meijer cheese.
Oh,
we got it from Aldi.
I have goat cheese with cranberries and honey on it. I'm going to put that on a charcuterie board.
Oh, that's bougie.
With some crackers. And then I'm going to put a salad on, and I'm going to put some fruit on. Yeah, it's going to be great.
That definitely sounds very bougie. And I love it. That cracks me up. Oh, my goodness.
I bought my dog a new squeaky toy yesterday, and he's obsessed with it. So if you hear squeaking in the background, that's what it is.
Your dog deserves to have a good time too.
Hide it from him for a little bit. Leo asked a good question about how we plan Thanksgiving from the COVID pandemic. Anybody want to?
That is a good question. Anybody want to go first with that?
Well, since my family doesn't meet with extended family anymore, especially my Aunt Julie, who is unvaccinated and like very decidedly unvaccinated, she's an anti-vaxxer. She's also a Trumper. She went to the insurrection. She was there.
Ew. Did you turn her in yet?
We called the FBI and they said they couldn't arrest her, but
probably no pictures.
Protesting, and she didn't actually go in the building, so they said that she's not technically a domestic terrorist.
Right.
But we did call them.
I just love how everybody that's been involved in that has been like doxing themselves. That's been the most beautiful part of that whole insurrection. It's just like, yeah, that was me.
It's like great, your pride just got you in trouble.
You can see of her like standing on the steps of the Capitol, wearing American flag cape, and you can see like gas in the background. And she tried to make it seem like it was just like this friendly affair and that the police were just really nice and nothing bad happened. And it was definitely not that way.
So, but you've been meeting up with like other vaccinated people is what you were saying, right? Like,
yeah, we don't really have extended family over anymore, and everybody in my immediate family is vaccinated. So
yeah, for me, like, yeah, we don't really do like extended family things either. Like my parents are unvaccinated, but like considering I'm the only one that sees them, like they're pretty safe, you know. So and And of course, all of us in my house are vaccinated. And when we, like, most of the people that we've invited are vaccinated too. So there weren't a lot of people last night at our Friendsgiving, but there were a few.
Yeah. Well, like I said, last year we did the virtual mukbang where everybody was kind of, you know, in their own houses and we just kind of ate and talked to each other. And this year we're doing the funeral. And like I said, it's just going to be next of kin. So, you know, my partner, my, you know, fiance, my son, and then pretty much everybody else is going to be virtual. I'm okay with a few other people coming over that are vaccinated, but you know, we're keeping the in-person party list down to a minimum. You know, Donny and I work with the public, like we work with our students, and we have a duty to keep ourselves healthy. You know, at least I see it that way. So I try to limit my exposure as much as possible, you know, and I keep myself on fairly high alert, if nothing else, because they don't deserve me to come into work sick and, you know, and spread things around. Like I could easily be a super spreader. So,
oh yeah,
you know.
Yep. That's usually at the forefront of my mind as well.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I wanted to point at Leo's question. I thought that was a good question.
Like, that is an excellent question. 100%. So let's talk about what we are thankful for individually. Our thankful.
We want to go round robin and tell one thing that we're thankful for.
Sure, let's do that.
So I've got the first one. It's my family, despite some disturbing news I found recently. I found out after my second manic episode, they put a tracker on my car. And I was like, what?
Oh my goodness.
They said that they wanted to know where I was because they didn't trust me to just tell them, because I just run off to Chicago and got on a flight and went to LA, and they couldn't find my car for the longest time, and they couldn't find the rental car for the longest time. So like they said, we just put a tracker in your car because we wanted to like make sure that you were safe. And whenever you would have a fight with your sister, we just wanted to make sure that you were still in town. So they like used it regularly.
Who put the tracker on your car?
My parents.
What the actual hell?
I am
like
mind blown right now.
I know. I almost can't make words happen. Like last I checked, you were a U.S. citizen and you were a full ass grown adult and can do what you want. So,
like if they would have like, no, I don't think it's acceptable by any stretch of the imagination. But had they even just approached you to be like, hey, considering what happened, like, would you feel comfortable with us?
Apparently, Jessica did ask me about it, my sister. But I don't remember her asking me because I was so out of it from my episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it should have been brought up in conversation again when you were when your episode finished.
Yeah, absolutely. Like talking to you when you're not in, you know, a relatively conscious state, for lack of a better term, right? In a lucid state. That's not consent. I'm sorry. You could not give consent at that time. So that is not okay, in my opinion. That's a violation. Like I would be very offended by that. Like I understand that their heart's probably in the right place, but still that really feels like a violation.
That's not the first time my mom's manipulated a situation though. She's done other stuff, but I'm just kind of like, I still love you, but I don't like what you're doing.
Yeah, I love you, but that's shitty, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure sorry.
Oh my goodness.
That's okay, but my family is good for the most part. They're really nice and they're helpful and they love me. It's
and their heart was in the right place. Yeah, they were concerned about your well-being. Like their heart was in the right place.
So that's my first one.
So my first one is similar. I like in my list I put like family / friend / partner. They all take the top spot. I'm thankful that my family, albeit we have disagreements, they're very supportive. I'm thankful for my dear friends like both of you for being such empowering forces in my life. I am, of course, very thankful for my partner, for being a genuinely good person, for believing in me, for respecting me, so on and so forth. It's just really nice. I've been in my therapy experiences, I've been learning to like accept what's been given to me, you know, like, and
Mhm.
not think that it's some sort of thing that is this fever dream that I'm experiencing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a process, but I am grateful for sure for all of those individuals.
Mm-hmm.
You, Sherri.
I have a very specific thankfulness today, very specific to right now. My partner was in a car accident yesterday, and I am thankful that he walked away with it with just a minor hematoma on the back of his hand. Like, we don't know yet if his car is totaled or not, and I'm sorry that you're just hearing about your father now, Lucas, but he's fine. And it just happened, he went to go to the store to go get our dog food, and I get a text from him. He's like, yeah, I'm just down the road, and apparently I ran a stop sign. It was rainy, it was dark. He's like, I don't even remember seeing the stop sign. He's like, I know this neighborhood, I'm here, you know, I've been here 5 years. Like, you think I would have known it, but it was just like, he was driving down the road, next thing he knows, his airbag's going off in his face. And it was just terrifying. And I am grateful that he's got good insurance, so he's got a rental car that he can drive until, you know, the insurance decides whatever they're going to do. I'm grateful that, you know, he's healthy and he's okay, you know, and that, you know, everything is being taken care of. Like, I was so scared last night when he texted me and it was like, I'm in a car accident. And then you guys will like this. And then, so he puts a picture up. So neuroatypical partner, right? He puts a picture up. I'm doxing you right now about this. He puts a picture up of his car on Facebook. He's like, yeah, so I was in a car accident earlier. The end. No, I'm okay. No, everything's fine. So I like have to post below that. I'm like, so he's okay, everybody. Like, he just got a bump on his hand. And everybody was like, thank you for posting that, Sherri.
Oh my God.
He was like, well, I would have said if it was more than that. I'm like, no, that's not where people's brains are going to go. Like, that's not how it's going to, no.
Well, first and foremost, I am so glad that he's okay. Like, that is really scary. Car accidents are very scary. I was just gonna say, it really reminds me of the one time I was in a car accident. I was riding with one of my friends. This is when I was at CMU, and we got T-boned like west of Mount Pleasant. And I texted my dad on this old T9 texting Nokia phone, and I was like, got an accident.
Dad.
I just was like, got an accident, I'm okay. So my dad's like trying to call me and I'm not answering. So I like send him a picture like in front of the car wreck, and I'm like, he was pissed at me. He actually came down to Mount Pleasant to take me to the hospital because I wouldn't go, because I was like, I'm fine.
Yeah. Aw, good job, Dad.
My goodness.
Did you have a concussion?
I did not, but I had severe whiplash.
Yeah. Aw.
Yeah. So Reggie just had the hematoma, you said, on the back of his hand.
Yeah, just a hematoma. He put ice on it, took some ibuprofen, and it's fine today. So no broken bones or anything. Yeah. T-boning, Leo asked what T-boning is. T-boning is when you hit a car sideways. So the car's coming this way and you hit it on the side. That's T-boning it.
Oh, and Arpy, I'm grateful for you too.
Aww.
Yeah, like, accidents are scary. I think what makes them so scary is that when they happen so quickly, you know, like, it's very surreal.
Yeah.
All right, Ari. I think it's your turn again.
I'm also thankful for my friends who keep me engaged with the outside world. Like doing this podcast with you, Donny, and having our lovely guests on, and just talking to friends every so often. It just, like, I live a very solitary life. Like, I don't leave the house very often. So, like, having these outlets is a way for me to, like, kind of keep engaged every week and not just fall into a slump.
So you're saying I should love bomb you with more stuff?
I do have a package ready. I wasn't sure if I was going to send it to Donny or to you. So.
Oh, dang. Yeah, we do have to send one to Donny, don't we? We gotta talk about that more often.
I still gotta do I still have to do a video showing off all the stuff that Ari sent me recently. So many awesome things.
You're so much better than me. I'm such an idiot. I just opened the package they sent me and I didn't even think to record it. I'm like,
I opened. Yeah, I was gonna do an unboxing, but I opened it already. So I guess I would just show it off, like a post unboxing. But like, I can echo that too, Ari. Like, I'm really grateful that we have this outlet here. Like, I know when we started the show, we were really excited and we didn't know how far it would go, but seeing that we've come 60 episodes and all the stuff that we've done, all the guests that we've had, the friendships that we've made, like, it's wonderful. I love it very much.
I'm grateful that you've included me in on this. Like, I'm a little jelly that you guys get to do this every week. Like, this is awesome. And I'm like, who could I rope into doing this every week as I stroke my invisible beard? You know, because this is like, it's such an amazing experience to just be able to hash out some of these kinds of ideas with other people, you know, and I don't know, and have this kind of connection from afar, right? And like, and look at this amazing connection. Like, you know, Donny and I knew each other peripherally from work. And Ari, you and I would probably never have met otherwise, right? Like, so how amazing are these connections that we're making?
I'm glad that, like, we knew each other, and I mean, we both have mentioned that we really wanted to be each other's friends,
right?
And I think the show has conveniently allowed for that to continue growing and for it to become a flourishing friendship, which I love.
So I'll do a podcast with you, Sherri. We can talk about art and fashion.
Yeah, like, I would love to if you ever want to do a podcast, let me know. Like, I can talk anyone's ear off while drinking wine, while talking about art.
I love it.
With two of my favorite people. So, is it my turn?
Yep, sure.
Another thing that I'm grateful for, this is a very, like, large one for me. Well, the last one was too, but the fact that I have found a creative balance in my life. A lot of people tend to overlook that, but my entire life, I've always wanted to create, and I would go through these phases where I would, like, mass create and then go through long stints of not producing anything.
Yes.
And I have gotten to a point in my life where it's been balanced. I think a lot of it might have to do with the validation I got from, you know, having books be successful. Like, that's been very beneficial for me. So now, like, I realized that, like, it was validating in the sense that, you know, like, my work does matter. I can hold my work in my hands. So I should just continue doing it. And I've learned that, you know, I don't always need to just hold my work in my hands to enjoy the wholesomeness of creating, right? So because of this, I've been continuing to write regularly, and I consider doing this, what we're doing right now, as a creative outlet. I'm starting to get into doing music again. I used to compose and record music, and my music channel is like this ghost town of nothingness. So I'm going to start doing stuff on there. But it's going to, like, that's been like a creative aspect that I've just abandoned, and I'm going to revitalize that. So
I just glanced at my bass guitar, which is off screen. So,
ideas.
Part of how I misspent my 20s. I was in a long-haired rock and roll band.
I love that. I always wanted to be in a band. Oh my God.
Yeah, we had a couple of gigs. We were not good. I was not good. I never got good, but it was fun.
Well, like, I play the saxophone, but I taught myself how to play the piano, but I'm not I'm not good enough to, like, get in front of people and, like, do a piano recital, you know?
Nice.
But, like,
that's why you joined a punk band. That's why you joined a punk band, because then it doesn't matter. Yeah.
If you can be as good as you want in a punk band, it doesn't matter.
If I can be anything like my gothic queen, Amy Lee from Evanescence, well, then my life is complete. So Arpy says, we're getting some nice comments in here that I've been ignoring. Arpy is grateful for their proctoring job at a community college. That's really cool. That's awesome. And of course the show. We're super happy that you enjoy the show. Leo is thankful for knowing great and wonderful people like you guys. Likewise, Leo. Like, I really do feel like our interactions in the show have helped our friendship grow considerably. And then Arpy asks, would you post your Linkin Park or Evanescence covers? Probably not. Not on YouTube because of copyright stuff.
Oh, CJ, that's my cousin.
Hello, CJ. Welcome to Restitching the Tapestry. Ari or RP, to answer your question, I probably won't upload them to YouTube because of copyright, and some of them are just bad. So they'll probably remain in the vault forever.
Yeah, you gotta watch what you put on YouTube.
Oh yeah, YouTube's very finicky. I mean, I do use Vimeo sometimes. That might be something I might consider. So,
oh, and Lucas says he's glad you're okay. No communication with his own son that he gave birth to.
I would be raging if my parents didn't tell me something happened. I'd be like, "What are you doing?" There was a time my mom went to the hospital, and I found out a day later. I was just like, "Excuse me, what? Hello, I am your child." All right, so we'll do one more round of what we're thankful for. How does that sound?
Okay.
Ari, what's your next one?
I have so many. I'm not sure what to choose. How about my psychiatrist and my therapist for helping me along the way? My psychiatrist just put me on newer drugs that are supposed to have not many side effects. So I'm really thankful for that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Good. I'm so happy that you're getting some relief.
Yeah, but my psychiatrist is sending me medical devices like a scale and a blood pressure cuff, and I have to send her data every month. So I think she put me in a part of a study because I'm taking a relatively new drug for bipolar, and I think she's gonna monitor me and write a report on me and do a study.
Yeah, she might have to, if it's an experimental drug, she might have to collect that data just to get access to the drug too.
Yeah. Arpy says that they're happy or thankful for their therapist too.
Jake.
Sherri, how about you?
Really? Oh my gosh, last round. What do I say I'm thankful for? So many things. I mean, really, I feel like I live kind of a charmed life in a lot of ways. I get to make art, I get to talk about art, I get to teach people how to make art for a living. That's my whole life, is making art. That's what I always wanted to do, and I'm doing it. I'm broke all the damn time, but I'd rather be doing something I love than have all the money in the world. And I maintain that. I've always said that that's true, and I maintain that. And I feel very lucky to be able to have that opportunity. I feel very privileged to have had that opportunity. I'm thankful for my cousin. CJ's awesome. You two would adore her because she's pretty amazing. I'm grateful for my son, our adopted son, Lucas. I'm grateful for Reginaldo. From my doggo. See if I can get him up here. Come here. You want to say hi? Come here. Come up. Jake. Or not. Okay,
maybe next time we'll have a cameo, right?
It was worth a try.
Maybe not the cat so much.
Oh, I just saw. Oh.
Come on. Up. Come on. Jake. Come on. There we go.
Oh my gosh, those floppy ears. I want to squish them.
Can you even take it?
You are so cute. Oh my goodness. The last thing that I am thankful for. Oh, this is a hard one, isn't it?
No pressure.
I am thankful for the momentum I've made when it comes to mental health as well. In the last year, a lot has happened. I started therapy again for the first time in a decade. I was diagnosed with bipolar 2 and ended up really kind of like putting a name to a lot of the things that I was experiencing for a long time. And that helped validate me, and it helped me not be as self-critical about my mental health.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of us coax ourselves into this mindset where like it's not our mental health, it's simply us needing to get over stuff, right? And realizing that that wasn't the case, and that literally it is a chemical imbalance in my brain, and then, you know, pursuing medication, which I used to be terrified of medication. Pursuing that avenue and it working and helping me has been absolutely wonderful. And I can't imagine. I just, it's weird thinking about like what life has been like prior to this, you know.
Can I jump on that grateful for my therapist gravy train? Because, you know, I've been diagnosed with PTSD and severe depression. And again, like just having that validation, like, okay, this isn't just all in my head. You know what I mean? I'm not just making things up and being dramatic. Like things happen to me and I'm having legitimate trauma responses. I'm going to cry. But you know what I mean? Like what you said just touched me so much, Donny. Like it's so true to have that validation from a medical professional who can say to you, look, these are the things that have happened and we can help you. We can get you through this. We can work on strategies to make things better. It's just such a relief, right?
It's like being seen for the first time, right?
Right.
Like, oh God, you're making me misty-eyed now. But it's being seen for the first time, and then someone helping you to see that you don't need to feel shame over part of who you are, because it is part of who we are. Like for all three of us, like we've had to learn about like what we've had, like the challenges that we've had, what's causing those challenges, and how to navigate them and accept them. Right. Because there is like no magical cure for a lot of different mental health journeys that people are on.
Right. Surprise, surprise. My cousin says she's also been diagnosed with PTSD. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I am like, it sounds like we're all definitely very grateful for therapy for sure. You know, I know we had a couple of discussion questions, but I think it would be really nice to continue ending on like what we're thankful for. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I like that.
Can I address Panda's I'm thankful for the kidnapping and IHOP night? I just don't want that to be left out there. And people are like, there's a kidnapping that's on the internet now. So may I address that for a moment?
That is so funny.
It's a good story and it will lighten the mood. It'll bring us up out of, it'll lighten the mood. So we're not actually related. Lucas is just a very close friend. We are part of the local kink group, and we met at an event. It was just a, meet and greet out at a bar, and we were all hanging out and having drinks. And I'm like little Miss Social, like gonna go talk to everybody. So I get up out of my chair and I go talk to this person, that person, blah, blah, blah. I just like to meet people and make friends. I think people are interesting and I like talking to people. So I get up out of my chair and I'm at the other end of the table and he was up out of his chair. And so I took his seat and I was sitting down talking to some of my friends. And then he comes back around and we hadn't met before. And I was like, oh, is this your chair? He's like, uh-huh. And I was like, you mind if I sit here for a minute? He's like, no, you're good. I was like, okay, good. Because I wasn't going to move anyway. And I just like sat there and just like took up his chair for like an awkward amount of time. And he was like so patient and just sat there. So end of the night, it's me, my friend Beth, and Lucas, and the party's kind of breaking up. I don't even think Reggie was there. I think he had to work the next day or something. So it's just me, Beth, and Lucas. And we decided we want IHOP because it's after bar hours and it's, late and that's what you want, right? So we decide we're kidnapping Lucas. We don't really even give him a choice because we're his ride home. We're like, well, you're coming with us to IHOP first and then we'll drive you home. So we like literally just took this person that we just met that night to IHOP and we adopted him that night and told him he was our son. And that's how the adoption happened. And fortunately, his husband did not call the police on us because he didn't go home on time.
If anybody tempted me with IHOP, they could adopt me too.
Right?
Just saying.
we're like, we're buying, so hop in, kiddo.
Pancakes are the best.
Oh my gosh, pancakes. Don't get me
Right?
started on pancakes.
And that's how the friendship started.
I think that's a perfect start to a friendship, in my opinion. All right, our final round, I swear, of what we're thankful for. Ari, take it away.
Having enough food thanks to food stamps. That has really been a lifesaver. That it takes off some of the burden of having to buy food, which would take up most of my money. So having that ability to get food stamps and have them give me enough that I can get through the month has really been a lifesaver. And during the pandemic, they gave me extra, so I was able to pay for my sister and myself.
Oh, I'm so glad you have that. Good for you.
That's good.
So grateful. I am willing to pay whatever it takes in taxes to make sure people I love are taken care of. I'm sorry. Like, I don't even care. I don't even, it doesn't even bother me. Oh, I'm so glad you have that.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like a freeloader, but I'm like, it's okay. No. It's needed. So it's not like I'm doing it just to like not worry about it, like, or just that I don't need it, but I'm getting it.
Right.
It's like there's actually a need.
Absolutely. And good for you for being kind to yourself and allowing yourself to, use that. It'd be too easy to get this tied up in pride and guilt and, just don't. Just, we all get put in positions sometimes where we need, a leg up and we need some help. And don't be afraid to take it when you need it. That's what it's there for.
True, but sometimes I, on purpose, buy healthy food because I don't want the person in the checkout behind me, like, judging me.
I know. It's this, don't get me started about the puritanical people in this country that have this, you have to work hard and not ever enjoy yourself. And it's just tied up in just the messed up culture.
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting, and we don't have time for that.
We could do a whole damn episode on that, honestly.
We could, and I'm in on that one, let me tell you.
So you can buy grocery store sushi because it's cold food. So sometimes I buy sushi for my sister because she loves sushi like a lot. And she's like, "Can you treat me to sushi?" And I'm like, "Yes. Let me pull out my bridge card and get you some sushi."
Oh,
but
that's wonderful.
I always get the dirtiest looks getting sushi because it's considered like a luxury item.
Because God forbid you be an adult human being and you want something luxury once in a while. God forbid you treat yourself because you're a human being and you deserve to be treated. Again, don't get me started because I will soapbox this one. You absolutely deserve that. And your sister absolutely deserves that because you're human beings and you are deserving of dignity.
Yep.
I can't.
Well, we're definitely penning that down as an episode idea after we're done tonight.
Because I could go. I
love it.
Myself in.
Fired up about it.
Sherri, what is your final thing that you're grateful for?
What is my final thing that I'm grateful for? I wasn't prepared for final things. Because I was too busy listening to that story. Well, you know what? I'm grateful that the welfare system was there too. I grew up on welfare. My dad was an alcoholic and my mom kicked him out when I was 3 and he had a wad full of money and she was like, "Can you give me some of that money to feed the kids?" He took $3 off the top, whipped him on the floor and walked out the door. And that was the last time she saw him. And she divorced him after that. She's just like, "You know what? You can go F yourself, like whatever." And she got us on the system. She worked hard and went to college and she pulled us out of the system and she did what she needed to do. It was a struggle. Did she always make the greatest choices? No, because you don't, because she was a single mom and she did what she had to do to get through. And she pulled us out of poverty. She was able to buy a house and she was able to take care of us. And it was just one step at a time. And it was just one thing working at a time. And all it takes is one bad run of luck, one bad time, one thing to happen. And everybody is in that position. You know what I mean? Like nobody is better than anybody else in this world. We're all vulnerable and we all need to take care of each other. So I'm grateful that that was there for me as a kid growing up and for me to have gone through that and to have seen what life is like, you know what I mean, for people and to, you know, and to know what real life is like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just living a privileged life where I just went from high school to college to having a full-time job, and I don't understand what what real life is like. I'm glad I was poor growing up. You know what I mean?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
glad I
for
went through those
sure.
struggles because I think it's made, it's given me a perspective that not a lot of people have. I have to yell at my dog. I got to pause this. Hold on.
Okay, go for it. So for me, the last thing for me is going to be hard to articulate. And it has to do with teaching. I am grateful that I am able to do what I love for a living.
Mhm.
But I'm also grateful that I am privileged and lucky enough to be in the position that I am in currently. I have spent most of my life living in poverty. I grew up that way.
Mhm.
Ever since college, I had been that way. And then, like in our department, a position opened up, and I applied for it, and somehow everything fell into place, and it worked out. I still kind of live in this like perpetual fear of and I think poverty has a lot to blame with it of like being afraid of losing everything all the time.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I'm grateful that I'm at this point where I have at least a little glimmer of security
Mhm.
sometimes beneath all of that.
Yeah.
Um, I never like, for example, I never imagined that I would be thinking about buying a house at some point. I literally believed that I would probably just probably just live with my family the rest of my life. I literally thought that. And not that there's anything wrong with living with one's family, right? But
Sure.
I do think that for many people, like the need to strive for independence is very validating for their own development, right? And that was the case for me. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful that I'm at this point in my life. So
Yeah, I'm glad you are too. Like so many of our colleagues, and I'm not going to mention any names, but so many of our colleagues are just so out of touch, with who our core demographic is. And it just breaks my heart because it's like you can tell that they've not lived any real life, and you can tell that they've not experienced anything that our students have experienced because we work at community college for anybody who doesn't know. And I think having that experience for both of us like makes us more real for our students. You know what I mean? We're able to relate to
yeah.
them on a real level
Well, yeah,
because we've
because
been where they are.
yeah, and some of them are still experiencing that struggle,
Mhm.
right? And
Right.
it's something that often gatekeeps a lot of people out of
Right.
having accessibility to education. So,
Right. It totally would have gatekeep me if it wasn't for student loans. We won't talk
mhm.
about that, but
No, that could be a
you
whole
know.
nother episode for us all to
Mm.
rant about. All right. So, do we have any parting words of wisdom tonight?
Well, RP asked if they could add me on Facebook, and yes, you may. Sherri Archer on Facebook. You absolutely may add me. And find me on YouTube. Sherri Makes Stuff. I put out videos every once in a while.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we need to do plugs. Like that'll be our words of wisdom tonight. So go
All right.
subscribe to Ari's channels, Strange Nothings and Tarot Time with Ari. Okay.
Tarot Time with Ari. I'm giving
Ari,
away
do you want to do a plug for what you're doing on Tarot Time for Ari right now?
So I'm still doing videos, but I'm doing another giveaway of the Wizard's Tarot. And it's pretty cool. It doesn't have the normal pentacles, wands, and swords. Oh, it does have swords, but it has like beasts and cults, I think is one of them, and swords and another one. But they are so unique, and the cards kind of look like Adventure Time. They're so good.
Oh, cool.
I love that. Sherri, do you want to do a shameless plug for your social media stuff?
Again.
Again, yes, 2.0.
Again. So yeah, subscribe to my channel, Sherri Makes Stuff. I promise I will be putting out new content soon. I've been sick, but I do have some stuff. I've recorded some stuff, so it will be going up soon. I know. I'm very inconsistent with how often I put stuff up, but there are some videos up now. It's mostly art stuff and sewing tutorials. So I'm always open to new things. If you're on Facebook, you can find me, Sherri Archer, on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, Sherri Makes Stuff on Instagram, 2 Fs, 1 F on Twitter, Sherri Makes Stuff with only 1 F, because Twitter only has so many letters that you can use. So, you know, I don't very often post on Twitter. Every once in a while I do. It's usually plugging this if I'm on here. But I am on Instagram from time to time. I'm on Facebook pretty consistently. I hope you're a Marxist, because I put a lot of like socialist stuff on.
Oh yeah, if you ever follow me on social media, I rant about people. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like, get ready for the Marxist rants.
Yeah. So my shameless self-promotion things. Number 1, I'm going to be doing a special here on my main channel in the next week or so, because I am nearing 1,000 videos. So I think it's going to probably be either next week or the week after. I'm going to be doing a 2-hour-long stream where I talk about the channel, I react to a bunch of old videos, all sorts of different things. I know, I'm pretty excited about it. It's a very huge milestone for me because, like, I mean, I've been doing YouTube for like 14 years, but this channel has existed for now 10 years. So it's like 10 years, 1,000 videos. Like, what is happening? So you'll have, like, there's going to be some content related with that, including that stream. And then shameless plug number 2, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on my Donny Speaks YouTube channel, I'm going to be doing an hour-long poetry reading featuring selections from my current book, Feats of Alchemy. So if you want to pour yourself a glass of wine and listen to some super gay sci-fi poetry and some banter, tune in for that at 8 p.m. So yay, there's so much stuff happening.
Awesome. Sounds so much fun. So much
It will
fun.
be fun. I am looking forward to it.
Right.
Well, my friends.
And keep your eyes open for my podcast. Who knows? I might be starting that up. We were talking about that earlier.
When you do decide to do that, we're going to be doing plugs until, you know, steam rolls out of our ears. We'll be doing plugs because we want the world to be able to listen to that 1,000%. So, all right. So next week we're taking off because it's Thanksgiving week, but we will be back the week after that. So just letting you guys know about that. We love you, and we hope that you have a good holiday, whatever you're celebrating with your family or even by yourself or with friends. So we love you.
Love you.
Have a good
Love
night.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.